Hey guys, Lex the Gray here. Welcome back to another video. This will be my 2025 New Year's resolutions. I figured I'd make one. It's 2 more days until New Year's. So let's go through this. There's 10 of them, and each one has to do with the channel. So first, let's go to number one, and that is to reboot the Solo RPG Workshop series. I do these videos every so often. They're very informal, workshop, quote unquote. Random at times. They're not specific to a solo campaign. They are breaded for brainstorming, testing out things, anything that has to do with RPGs in general. So I'm going to reboot it to make it an official series that I will be doing constantly on this channel. And I will explain how this will differ from my solo RPG campaign videos in a few more numbers here. So that's an easy one. It will be called the Solo RPG Workshop Series, and I will try to release one or two of them a week. Number two is to work on the digital landscape. I'm not taking a step away from tabletop, but you'll see less of it because it's more convenient. Uh, Another number on this list will be relevant to number two here, but I have done this a while ago. And actually, I started entirely on the computer itself, on my screen. A lot of my YouTube videos were based digitally, uh, tabletop, virtual tabletop at times. And then I slowly migrated to traditional tabletop. But I want to conserve space here, and I want to be able to do almost everything digitally moving forward. So this one has been a long time coming, but again, I've never done it. I have done before, so I'm familiar with the territory. Three is to improve the UI, and that means equipment. What you guys are looking at now is my laptop webcam. I run a Mac. And with the recent update, there has been this very, very powerful feature where it removes my background in real time. It's a lot better than the one based in OBS that was created by another user. A lot better. So I want to use this one more often. And again, there will be another listing here that is relevant to this topic. But basically, the UI is obviously the user experience or user interface. But for me, it's you guys watching the videos. So you are the user here, and the interface are my videos. What you look at, the visual presentation, I want to make them better, more appealing to look at, more aesthetically pleasing. Because I really never had a theme for this channel. It's just been kind of random. So I want to be able to make these more aesthetically consistent, and you will see why soon. Number four is to balance my solo episodes into weekly entries. So, my playtest series I did recently, which was the Deathly Chronicles, which worked out very well. It was a huge amount of insight I needed into crafting my Havoc system. It has closed. It did its job, and I was happy with it. Could I continue it in the future? Perhaps. But again, I'm not good at making promises. What I am good at is working all the time on my rules. Probably too much in some respects. But what I want to do here, and it was a reminder when I was doing those day-to-day episodes for, there was only like six or so, or 6 to 8 episodes. I forgot off the top of my head. But I want to be able to do one solo entry of a campaign every weekend. That's why I put weekly. That way, not only does it balance my work personal life, as this is part of my personal life, but it doesn't become a nuisance and I don't get tired of it. So if I balance it once a week, it will help with the channel's consistency. And I've noticed that even though they're very fresh videos, they've only been up for a week. Typically, I use that word term lightly because there are some entries of prior solo campaigns that have done very well. typically the first episode, like my Lone Wolf, which has been shelved for a long time. Typically, my solo campaigns are my most least viewed video, the view count. Don't really take that into a case here, but it's just a reminder where my effort should go. That's why I mentioned off the bat of the workshop, the solo RPG workshop series. I want to make that my flagship content. So I noticed those get the most views. I think it's one of my most viewed videos, 2000 or so. I forgot. It's one of my most viewed videos. My first solo RPG workshop video. And like I said, these will be balanced. It gives me time to formulate a plan for my player characters. Not like write a script, but to plan out what could happen to them, challenges, not again creating a linear story, but to give them an environment ahead of time to work out on, not to guess on top not to improvise too often, but to give a preset campaign that then I can focus on the efforts of the player characters, not both the world builder, the dungeon master, and the player characters. That is the beauty of solo RPGs, but it can get overwhelming for me at times, and I don't want to discourage myself from doing these videos. So I figured if I do one of these episodes a week, if I announce a new campaign series coming up, okay, for example, okay, I have for this is hypothetical, the space campaign I want to work on using Death in Space. So I'll announce it, midweek or so, and then I'll have an episode. I'll record one Saturday or Sunday because my work schedule is typically on the weekdays, but sometimes they will spill over into the weekends. However, if I do an episode Saturday or Sunday and I can release it moments after I record it because I typically shoot to edit or shoot to post, then that gives me time beforehand the entire week to formulate a campaign, part of the campaign, how I see my player characters interacting with the world around them ahead of time. So I can plop down a little map, whether it's in Theater of the Minds or on tabletop, virtual tabletop. I can set up some challenges, encounters, checks, etc., NPCs ahead of time. Basically, build the world map or build the map of wherever the characters will be in the area, the region, etc. And then when I record, I focus on the characters and less on the DM, less on the guide, as my Havoc system calls it. That's why I want to do the balancing act here with my solo entries. And I figured that might work out with the quality of my content too. I'm not just sitting there pausing and I'm like, what should I call this guy? What's the name of my city here? Doing moments like that. I want to do less of that and more where I can just continue effectively without having to pause or stop on camera because I don't edit my content. I really don't. Don't have time to, but I have time to record them. So I want to make it where it's one record. And if I stop it to, take a bio break or answer a call, I'll do that. But the less times I have to pause my video, the better. Because again, I get in the zone, I do my thing, I impromptu as much as I can, and follow the campaign that I've constructed while making sure my player characters have all the freedom in the world. So that's how I think four is probably the biggest one on my list here because it separates the main videos from the crowd itself, if that makes sense. Next, I had to mention was the Havoc system. I talked about this in my prior videos. I want to publish the Havoc system to itch or drive through RPG, whatever the process is, whatever the formalities I have to go through, bureaucratic hoops I have to jump through. Um, Once I finish the Havoc system, which is very close. I'm actually working on different additions to it, different dice methods, different mechanics, but Havoc system as a whole is complete. The foundation's complete, and the rules are there. Like the mechanics are there, the character sheet's crafted. I'm always tweaking little things here and there, but that's very common when you're working on your own RPG. But I want to publish my finalized version to a site so that I can see how it does. And if it's an utter failure, I'll walk it back and work on a new one. If it's a success, because again, I'm not going to charge for this, so this can be a free game. It's a one page or it's a multiple pages of a rules light system. And then if it's a success, then I'll work on supplements, extensions, or another edition. That's how I want to be able to put the Havoc system out there without me just talking to you guys about it on here. So you guys can actually have your own copy if you want to try it again. So, workshop videos, the solo RPG workshop series will focus on everything that is not an episode of a solo campaign. And it makes sense. Before this, I was doing let's make, let's hack at kind of videos. So let's something at in the topic. Those were an experiment, but at their core, they are workshop videos in disguise. I was testing this ground because I wanted to see what the viewership was. And they were getting decent views by my standards. Again, I'm not a big channel. So I want to again take all those, every non-workshop video, even updates. Well, that one I'll leave up in the air for now. Videos like this, which are kind of an update or me just talking, nothing really about solo RPGing, but it's a side video to give you an update about something. These may stay separate. We'll see. Anyways, most of my non-campaign videos will be the workshop videos. It makes sense because when I review a product, not review, when I go through a product that I find out in the wilderness and RPG stores, thrift shops, if I want to talk about a certain dice mechanic I like, if I want to go through some new merchandise, or if I want to brainstorm some RPG tactics, again, those will be workshop videos. The name workshop is so overcome. It's an umbrella term. It's vague enough to represent multiple things, and that's the purpose of a workshop. You brainstorm, you go through something, you experience it, and you use what you learn to create something ahead of time, to help you create something ahead. So that is what my workshop videos will be focused on, a lot of things. Number 7, more of these, more of my ugly mug. Want to be able to do more in-person videos than the actual tabletop that I typically do. I like this. I love talking to you guys directly. So you can see me. You can see how emotionally invested into this content. It also helps me um, get more one-on-one with you guys. Gets again more personal because it's in person. So hopefully it shows some level of sympathy here where I'm putting my heart and soul into this channel, not just my hands on the tabletop and you're looking at my character sheet. The disadvantage of this is if it is a tabletop video, much like what the Death of Chronicles was. You don't see my dice rolling, you don't see my character sheets, but I try to talk more. I try to fill in the noise with my voice. And I hope it works. I really do. I do like these in-person videos. More community postings. This has been a resounding success. I've seen a lot of interactivity. I don't know where these go out to. I don't know if they go specifically to my subscribers, which I'm assuming they do, but these have a tendency to get some interactions. Probably 8, 10 views, 12 views. The votes have been any posting that has a voting system in it for whatever reason, whatever I'm doing, they actually do get some votes, 12 votes, 13, 14 votes. That's great. So I'm going to keep doing more of these. This is not my focus on the channel, but occasionally you'll see a community posting, and that's great. They're so easy to go through. Also, when you're looking through your subscription videos, and I think these pop up there because I've seen once or twice on mine. It's a voting when you vote. That's it. So again, an activity keeps you guys engaged, and that's great. Consistency. This is my weakness, self-admitting, and perhaps I'm just too hard on myself, but I want to be more consistent. It's not with the timing of my videos that they're released on, but it's the more, again, visual appeal. This does have some relation to the UI comment from earlier. My videos are, if you go through all my original videos, they are so inconsistent. I have always had this problem. Whether it's a problem or not, maybe I'm making it out to be a problem myself. But I've seen a few comments also from some friends of mine who watch my videos. It is notable. Now, it's not a downer for me. It doesn't stop me from making videos, but there are times I'm like, gee, I keep changing the visual aesthetic. I keep changing the timing of things, but consistency. I'm just putting the word out there because I want to, this is more of a reminder for myself. Just be more consistent. Consistency on the videos. So that's it. This is probably the lightest one because it's more of a personal one. I don't know. This one, I was trying to think of a 10th one. That's why there's a question mark here. I highly doubt I can afford a studio, but I would love a studio for, especially for tabletop videos. That's why I mentioned earlier that I want to steer my campaign videos to the digital landscape, virtual tabletops, because I don't have room for traditional tabletop anymore. My table's getting filled. I don't have room. And it's not appealing. It's this brown, goofy looking apartment tabletop. It's not appealing. When I have a background with my face in it, have a secondary camera that shows top-down view of my tabletop, a dice tray, my notes, my rules book, that is my dream. And there are some YouTube channels out there that have the solo RPG channels respectively that have that setup, and I envy them with all my heart. I want that. How am I gonna get it? I have no idea. It's like I can't afford it. I don't have time. What is the potential here? But studio would be so ideal, especially for the workshop videos. Yes, the solo campaign videos are that's the bread and butter essentially for my channel, but if I want to put more effort into the workshop videos, having a traditional tabletop, the camera facing down, that would be great. Multiple cameras, two or three webcams, switching on OBS, that'd be great. That's like a dream come true. And I figure, I don't know if I'm, when I reach 500 subscribers or 1,000 in the future, but I don't know when that will happen. But there are so many channels that I follow that are not solo RPG related, that are like tech reviewers, the small channels, small tech reviewers that do that because they review tech and they need their hands-on experience with the item they're reviewing. It's amazing to see how far they've come from reviewing content in their garage to having their own, not just their garage, their bedroom, their living room, if it's like a phone from back in the early 2010s, to having their own full-fledged studio. Before I close, because this is the last listing here, before I close this video out, I do want to recommend one channel that is not a solo RPG channel. I was talking about tech reviewers. This guy is absolutely fantastic, the most professional, low budget, visually appealing, informative channel I've ever come across. He's made great strides in his progress. He's been on YouTube for a while. You can see the progress he's made. I say low budget because he is a one-man army. I think he has a part-timer at times to help him with the videos, but he does shoot the edit or shoot the post. I don't know what the exact term is, but he records everything live and they post it with minimal editing straight to his YouTube. Lon Seidman, lon.tv. Look up his channel. He does daily or a few videos, a handful of videos a week. He reviews tech from a consumer standpoint. He's very professional. He's very informative. He's very by the book. Like he'll tell you if the video is sponsored or not sponsored. Something I always forget to mention. When all my videos on the channel are not sponsored, I guarantee it. I promise you, not sponsored at all. This is all my own time, but I want to get that out there just in case I forget in the future. But I will say that in case when I do a video of a product, a book, an RPG I find, I'm like, oh, this is great. I want to talk about it, go through it. Because I don't actually review my channel. I go through exploration from my first hand consumer uh, experience. I want to mention it's not sponsored because I feel like it's my obligation to do so. Lon.tv, Lon Seidman, he does it every single time. And he has been pushing that advocating that for other YouTubers who forget, whether purposely or just by accident, don't mention that that video is being sponsored. or this video is being reviewed or approved by a company. And he mentions, for the most part, most of his videos are a mix of everything. He has a few sponsored videos. He has a few videos where it's entirely on by his own whim. He purchased it with his own funds. It hasn't been reviewed. It hasn't been doctored or anything. It's entirely from his own mind. It's all from his opinion. So I'll leave it at that. I don't typically talk about non-RPG video channels, but I wanted to mention that one because he's by far my favorite of all time. But in any event, I hope you guys have a great New Year's. I hope you've had a great holiday season with your family or friends, however you celebrate, whatever you celebrate. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays, whatever you do with your life. I hope it was fun. Hope you had a very eventful 2024. It has been very interesting. This whole full year has been my channel first full year of content since I think the year before I started. And 2025 is going to be a circus with everything going on. It's going to be a roller coaster, and I hope my channel can make it through. I really do. I have some big things coming up personally with my life, and I want to keep that consistency going, like I mentioned in my earlier listing here. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next year.